All right, ladies, we are live. We are live. Welcome to Tea Talk with the Sisterhood. It's tea time, ladies. It's tea time. Where are your teacups?
Bam.
Anyone slipping?
I don't have my cup.
I have a candle.
It is Tea Talk with the Sisterhood. We meet every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. to discuss pertinent issues in the community and to also offer vital solutions. So on the panel, I brought with me the squad. I had my sister Raziki, I had Waukesha L, I have Sister Alima, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. But before we get started, we always pay homage to the ancestors. We always lift the ancestors up because we understand that we are incarnations of them and we stand on their shoulders. And all of the sisters on this panel understand that we not only represent our mothers and families in our family, but we also represent all of the females prior to our physical existence, females in the diaspora and females on the continent. All right, so we stand on the shoulders of the divine line of females who fought for the liberation of our people. When I say their names, my sister, please say Ashe, Ya Satiwa.
Ashe.
Queen Nzinga.
Ashe.
Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
Dr. Francis Press Welsing.
Ashe.
Do you all have any names to drop?
I gotta give a shout out to my ancestor directly, Miss Martha Jenkins.
Ashe.
Gotta give a big shout out. I mean, it's just too many to name, but all of the sisters who, like you said, just fought for the liberation of our people. So whoever the famous and the unfamous, even the unknown, Ashe to you all.
Ashe. Sister Alima.
Okay.
I think she said she wanted to say something. Sister Alima.
Oh, yeah, my grandmother.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe. And my great grandmother, Maybelle McCrae.
Ashe.
Ashe. My grandmother, Evelina McFadden.
Ashe.
All right.
And I have a sister, I'm sorry, Lachey or great grandmother, McCrae.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. All right, so you ladies go ahead and introduce yourselves to the panel before we get started.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Peace and love, beautiful people. This is your celestial sister, sass sacred sexpert, Raziki Zafira in the building. What's good?
That's your sister, Kia, the second half of Nature's Crown. And that chick is my best friend. And, oh, my God. Peace, Waukesha in the building.
Peace.
Sister Alima, did you want to introduce yourself, sis?
I'm here. Peace and love, family. Sister Alima Njai, streaming live with you, ready to get it on.
Fantastic, fantastic. So before we get started, the topic of today is the importance of sisterhood. And so before we get started, Sister Raziki came up with this idea to address some of the hot topics. So Sister Raziki, start off with the hot topics.
Okay, so we all heard about, and I want to get you sisters take on this and everybody in the panel. And we all know about the women's march that happened recently. I think the number was like 1 million or something. I don't know. I may have my factuals incorrect, but it was a lot of the mamma jammers out there. And I just, even though it was great to see a lot of women, come together in unity for Trump, I'm just like, where, do we get the same amount of turnout, when it comes to, matters within our immediate community, So I just kind of wanted to get you sisters take on how y'all felt about the march. Like I said, I know a couple of my Facebook friends, they actually flew out and took their daughters, to the march just so that, the young children can really get a vibe about what it feels like to be, unified with sisters. And, I also on the negative side saw some feedback as far as how, even though there was a lot of cultures coming together, but, where are those those same other cultures when it comes to, you know, the African American community, if you will, with lower paid wages, you know, unfair treatment, you know, so forth and so on. So I just kind of wanted to get you ladies take on that.
So you said that, I got you, sis. So you're basically, your concern is, you know, you didn't mind, you know, you were happy about the solidarity, but you're saying, you know, where's this solidarity when like the injustices occur?
Exactly.
Or solidarity when we need to fix problems in our community. You know, where's the solidarity? I actually agree with what you're saying, but I would also like to add that I think that a lot of them don't view it as their problem. You get what I'm saying? When things happen to us, I don't think that the majority, like I'm talking about, you know, Europeans, Asians, Hispanics, I think, you know how like with, even in our own individual lives, your problem is really only important to you. So you may call around and vent about your problem, but at the end of the day, your problem is only important to you. People will say, oh, Raziki, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, Keisha, I'm so sorry to hear that. But seldomly do you hear someone say, man, you know, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything that I can do to help? Is there anything I can do to assist you, whatever you're going through? You know, so I think that when in terms of ethnic groups, I think we had that same mentality. They look at, you know, Black poverty as a Black problem. They look at, you know, Black self-hate or the educational system, you know, that's a Black problem. You know, they look at it as that's your problem. You know, your problems are exclusive to you. And that comes from the whole spirit and ideology of individualism. When I watched the march, when I saw like clips of the march on television, what came to mind was the feminist movement. I don't know why, but like, that's the first thing that I saw when I saw these white women locking hands with, you know, Black women. And I get what you're saying, Sister Raziki, is like, oh, we're women, we're all standing together. But I guess my question is, and it still is, what were they trying to achieve? What is the agenda for this women's council? And so I don't know if you guys are aware what their objectives are, if anyone could expound on that. But
well,
I think what is their agenda? What is the march? What is the agenda of this council or organization of women? Yeah. I'm not really sure what it is.
I think it was sort of a feminist movement. I know Ashley Judd was on there and she was going ham. And she was just irate about just how the president has presented himself up until now, how he speak about women, you know, grabbing women's pussy and all kind of craziness like that. And I think it was more of a feminist thing, but I just to go to the left on it, what I don't want is for the sisters to see that and get it confused with, like you say, that being a problem that or that because they were a part of that movement, that march, that is your fight. When it's not your fight. It's not your fight at all. And they are not marching, you know, the march was not for you. Yes, they were standing in unity with you, but the numbers made them stronger. But it certainly didn't represent women of color, Black women, Latino women, any woman of color. So that was my whole thing. I just don't want the sisters to see that, or even the sisters that went and participated in the march, to get it confused, because it wasn't for you. It certainly wasn't for you.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like I said, I definitely did hear about just the women's dislike for Trump overall because of how he speaks about women. And also they had several clips, you know, comparing how he treats his wife to how Obama treats Michelle. So like you saw these videos where, you know, when Michelle got out the car, Obama waited for her, held her hand, walked her up the stairs, where Trump just straight up got out the car and then she's walking behind, like, you know what I'm saying? She's just all by herself. And like, again, like, you know, Keisha said, even though in the African American community, we as Black women have our own issues with how we interact with our men or how they interact with us. You know, again, what exactly did the march solve? What does any march solve? Like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I may not always have my factuals correct, but what march directed you or directly affected a law that's been changed or a statute, or you know what I'm saying? So I just, like you said, it was a flashback of the feminist movement. Even back then, it was their fight, not ours. They just used our presence and our energy for the benefit of their main concern, which is this man in the presidential seat just disrespecting women. And I don't know about y'all, but like Trump don't have no direct effect on me. You know what I'm saying? Like I won't even allow that in my reality. So.
And then, and what kills me, and I just want to add to the conversation. So millions of women, 5 million women come together and they march because the president made the comment that, he grabs women by the vajayjays, right? But when these rappers, you have rappers and like artists and musicians who have said more worse things than that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I swear you did.
Where are these 5 million people, right, Sister Alima? Like, where are these 5 million women then? Exactly. When these rappers say, calling women bees and women ain't this and money over hoes. Where are these 5 million women then that are standing together and censoring these artists by not buying their albums and saying we're not going to tolerate the disrespect and degradation of women? Where are these 5 million women then? So I'm like, they can't have centered a march around just the disrespect. You get what I'm saying? Because women get disrespected daily. So, I'm just trying to figure out, really of this march. You have artists, the way actresses are depicted like in certain roles. Where are the 5 million women then? So the march really, it didn't make any sense to me. And I agree 100% with you, Sister Riziki, in that what does marching solve? What does it really solve? And when
I just feel like I was the only person who was really out of the loop. I'm sorry to cut you off, sis. I feel like I was the only person out of the loop because I didn't even know about the march, like literally until they were marching. I'm like, what is going on? And all I see is a bunch of females marching. I see police that have on pink hats that are like made out of vaginas or something like that they were wearing, and chicks with vagina hats. So, automatically you think the feminist movement.
Yeah.
And if sisters really think for 1 second that was some type of unification amongst women, it was a temporary unification, if anything. And it was all off the basis of politics because they don't like the president. If they liked the current president, that would have never happened.
It would have never happened. It would have never happened. And then another hot topic, just kind of moving on so we won't, drag things out. Another hot topic is the fact that Donald Trump was inaugurated, on January the 21st. So his inauguration was, I believe it was Friday, either Thursday or Friday. I want to say it's Friday. His inauguration. So he's no longer president-elect. He's President Donald Trump. I know that this past Saturday here in Baltimore, Maryland, we had a Unify or Die lecture. It was hosted by Brother Jabari from Reality Speaks. He brought in myself and Carlos Muhammad from Muhammad Mosque Temple number 6 and PFK Boom to speak on unification. And we were basically saying, man, it's time to unify or die. And that, during my lecture, which will be available online probably between now and Friday, I spoke about how if we were unified in nation building, we wouldn't have those worries like, oh my goodness, I wonder who's president and who he's electing to his cabinet and, what executive orders he plans to sign. If we were unified and with nation building, I'm not saying that we wouldn't have to completely, disregard who's in that political, hierarchy, but we would be more financially, economically, politically, and socially secure within our own. But we're not. So that's why you have brothers and sisters on Facebook, social media, panicking right now at Donald Trump being president. But what I always tell these brothers and sisters is just direct that energy towards nation building now, unifying and nation building. And then we can worry about what's going on, with this political regime and all of that. But right now we need to really be concerned with unifying, mending and healing male-female relationships, mending our families, connecting with brothers and sisters of like minds to accomplish certain objectives in our communities, organizing and combining existing organizations and structures that are working for the benefit of our community. So that's what we really need to be involved in and concerned with right now. So what are your thoughts on Donald Trump being the president of the United States, sisters?
Well, I know me and Sis Kia talk about this a lot. We talk about, you know, he may have been one of the best things that happened for Black people, which is backing up exactly what you said, because with his whole campaign and everything that was going on, you saw the racism, you saw the bigotry, you saw, you know, the disregard for people of color. And like for me, like I just see Trump as a motivation for everybody in a nutshell to get off their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like really recognize that you seriously, it's in your face. You have this guy who's running this system that was never built for you. So if you expecting some kind of something to benefit you from this cabinet, whatever you call it, just, you know, smack yourself into reality. Go ahead, Sis Kia.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with her 100%. It's funny to believe that Black folks will be upset and worried about what can happen to them under his administration. Well, the worst administration you've been under the last 8 years was Obama administration. But I see on people, feed timeline, whatever on Facebook, people are praising this man because he can sing an Al Green song, because he has a Black wife and a Black family, but he did nothing directly for you during his entire administration. His administration, he had the phones. This was a savior. Obama phones, and everybody want to say, oh, they did the Obama phone and the Obamacare and this, that to the third. Oh, and then the famous one is My Brother's Keeper, and that's another, you know, some shenanigans, but it was the worst administration for Black folks. Not only did it not affect us, but they also killed one of our greatest leaders under his administration. Yeah. And that's Muammar Gaddafi. And so a lot of that we don't talk about. So to be worried about Trump, I am absolutely glad. I am ecstatic that he is the president, because if you don't know by now that you need to get it together, you're going to learn. And I'm so excited that he is, because now there is no thing as overt racism. You will see it right up close to in your face, and you must handle it. So, I mean, how bad can it be for Black folks? Hell, what death? You already getting killed. So it can't even worse you. So, I mean, at this point, if Black folks or minorities or whatever we want to label ourselves at this point don't get it together, then shame on you, point blank.
Dr. Maya, you muted.
Okay, my fault. I was saying that's right. Agreeing with it.
Yeah, that was good, sis. That was good.
Well, my thing is,
right.
my little quick take on Trump being president. Number one, you were broke when Bush was in office, and then you continue to be broke during Obama, and you'll be broke when Trump leaves. And number two, why are you mad at Trump? Because he's an open racist. You get mad at people for pretending to like Black people when they don't. So now when there's a man who tells you he doesn't like you, you don't like him because he told you he doesn't like you. But why you really mad? And also, Trump just seems to me that he's going to try his best to pretty much get a lot of people off their behinds, so to speak. So people are mad. He's talking about cutting the welfare, and he's actually talking about making people self-sufficient. Can you believe that angers people? The fact that he will make you get up off your behind and actually do for yourself. I
am shocked and appalled. Shocked and appalled.
Right, sis. Just shocked and appalled that this man would actually propose that people should try to do for themselves. And also maybe because I understand that America is a corporation, what's wrong with a businessman running a corporation? I don't care that he's a racist. I don't care. He's not going to stop my flow. I'm still going to live my life. Let him be who he is. But when it comes to him running this country, I don't have a problem with it. I actually think he's going to do good for the country. And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. But I understand that America is a business. He's a businessman. People keep talking about his bankruptcies. Those were in the 90s. Not to mention they were refurbishing bankruptcies. So basically he didn't tank his businesses. He just found a way to sell them and get out of them.
Ashe.
I feel like our biggest thing that we need to focus on with what we've always need to focus on is our economics and how we spend our money and what we're going to do for ourselves. Trump is not going to hinder us from doing anything, and we shouldn't focus on it. And it's that simple.
Ashe. I think that was good, sis. Like I agree 1,000%. Like and just knowing, like you said, America, the United States of America is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. And that was the main thing. Like as soon as he was even in the running for presidency, you know what I'm saying? Like this man knowingly or publicly has never had a political office in any other state. But the fact, like you said, he knew how to, you know, handle business and have these bankruptcies and still function. I really believe that America hired him to do exactly what he's known for, which is deal in good business. And another thing I want to bring about is, like you said, I feel like and this is something that is just very, you know, prominent, I hope people realize, is that one of the reasons why we as a nation of people fail in business is because we don't know how to remove emotion from business. So meaning that me and you may not like each other on a personal, you know, on a personal level. But if I know like you can handle business, I should still do business with you because that's smart. That's economical. That is beneficial for us both. We don't have to get along on everything. We don't have to be brother and sister, see eye to eye. And I think there's just so many lessons across the board that we as a nation can learn from this whole presidency. And, you know, we should get out of our feelings and really just pay attention.
Definitely.
And I mean, I just want to second that. I think that I know Rizzy and I, she's my business partner. And so, you know, our business is manufactured and produced in the United States. So we can use that to our advantage. For those who are complaining about factory jobs or jobs not being in America, well, here's your chance to produce, manufacture, and distribute out of the United States. And now we're in the movement of let's make America great again. You can use this to your advantage. I think it's the best thing for an entrepreneur during this time to go into business for themselves in America and promote that you produce, distribute, and manufacture products in America. You're bringing jobs back to America. I'm sure throughout the nation, they're going to have different cities that will give incentives for people that have their business here in the United States. So a lot of this you can use to your advantage, especially Black people. Use the climate that we're in right now to your advantage. Don't look at it as a loss. It's not a loss. I think it is. I agree with the sister. It's the best thing that has happened to America, period. But more specifically, the best thing that happened to us, you know, in the recent years. So use it to your advantage. Stop speaking out of fear. Don't speak, you know, don't manifest that fear in your life. We don't operate off of fear. No way. Right. So, I mean, use that to your advantage, man. It's a good look in my eyes. It's a good look.
Exactly, Queen.
Exactly. I agree I concur with everything that the sister spoke. So moving on to the topic of today. Let me get my notes out real fast. Hold on. The topic of today.
Hey, so we're gonna bring up the polite and Tommy thing later.
I didn't want to. I felt like I was gossiping just now. So that's the only reason why I didn't do it. Y'all want me to do it? I can do it.
Yes. Bring it up.
All right. So word on the street. Why is word on the street? Word on the block is that Polite scammed Tommy Sotomayor. Apparently Polite must have borrowed. Now Tommy didn't say his name. I saw the video last night because of course Tommy put the video up and he took it down. But he didn't take it down fast enough because brothers already pulled the video and they, you know, already cut out. They already chopped and screwed the video. So anyway, in the video, Tommy said that, you know, a brother who just came on his show, you know, that Polite just came on his show, borrowed $4,500 from him and only paid $1,500 of it. So he was upset, you know, that he didn't get his balance. And he was saying that the initial agreement was that he gives him the $4,500 and that he returns it within a week. And it's been like over 3 and 4 weeks. So So the word on the block is that Polite has scammed Tommy Sotomayor. Can I say that? Can I say that I'm surprised, my sisters? Absolutely not. I'm saying if it is indeed true, I am not surprised. But my heart goes out to Tommy. I know there's rumors that he's a millionaire. I think he's even said that he's a millionaire. But at the end of the day, that man has bills. He has a family that he takes care of. And I don't believe that anybody, I don't care how much money you have, I don't believe that anyone should be scammed out of their money. So any of you want to elaborate on that?
Well, yeah, I understand, like, we not here to promote that energy of gossip. So I always like to take the lesson out of the situation, which is, again, going back to even with Trump, how we take people who are in these powerful positions, perceived to be powerful positions, and, put them on a pedestal, right? And this is also important that, we leadership within our immediate communities, because when a lot of people if a lot of people was to hear that, this also is like another strike against us doing business with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time we hear these stories, it's like, well, these positions, because like you said, a lot of people feel like, Polite has all this money. So for me to hear he had to borrow money anyway was a shock, because it's just the perception that he has it. But then to hear, that little riffle or whatever, it can put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. A lot of people look up, if you will, to him. A lot of people use him for examples for business, marriage, whatever the case. And it's just a realization, like, look, man, all this stuff you see on YouTube, I mean, like, it ain't what you think it is, and when it comes to leadership, you know what I mean? Like, it's important to develop a certain kind of trust, or know the value of contracts. How about that? That's another thing that us as Black people, like, of course, there was a time where we could just shake hands and our word was our bond, but we not in them times no more, clearly. And there's still some distrust that we need to work through based on, conditioning, whatever have you. But it's just a lesson, like, get y'all contracts in order, man. Like, shoot, hey, it's a lesson for me. Me and my best friend have a contract, even though we've been best friends for 13 years. We still have a contract.
I was just about to say that we have a contract with each other. We're in business with each other, and we've been best friends for 14 years. But business is business, and personal is personal. Bottom line, anything can happen. So you want to make sure that your grounds are covered. So I mean, my heart goes out to him. Like you said, he does have a family. I don't understand what's going on with Polite. I think he's all over the place. I don't know the guy, personally, but it just seems like he even looks stressed. When I look at some of his live feeds, and I don't watch it too much nowadays because it's just all over the place. He seemed very lost, but he looks stressed out. So my heart goes out to the guy, man. I hope he get it together.
I feel like the only bad guy on the panel, bad girl rather, was like, I don't know. I guess I have my personal feelings involved, because just a lot of things that he says on his platform about Black women, and he's very disrespectful, and he's very misogynistic. And the fact that he has a wife is amazing. She's probably white, but that's not the case. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about his money, but I'm gonna be quiet.
I got you, sis. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I said that a long time ago in one of my videos, that he does say very misogynistic and male chauvinistic remarks. He does. I mean, it is what it is. I don't care how many wives he flaunts in front of you on YouTube, and his daughter, how highly he speaks of his daughter. He still says remarks that can be perceived as misogynistic and male chauvinistic. I remember he was being interviewed by Sinetta, and he said he was talking about his wives, and he was like, well, man, first of all, they were talking about brothers. He was talking about brothers coming at him in the community, and he was like, man, I'm not worried about that, man. I got 4 wives to worry about, man. I got like 3-4 wives that I have to worry about, so I can't waste any energy on these brothers. And then he was like, man, I'm getting ready to pick up another wife, and man, sooner or later I'm gonna have a woman for every day of the week. So when he said that, that showed me how much respect and honor he has for those women. To me, it's like he spoke about those. Yeah, I can get the broadcast. It was on Sinetta's channel. And I can definitely get the broadcast and edit it out so I could bring that forward. But to me, when he spoke of them, even though he used the term wife or wives, he still spoke about them like in an objective, like they were objects, you know what I mean? Versus human beings that are, it was just like, yeah, man, I'll have a woman for every, day of the week. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move on to the topic of today, which is the importance of the sisterhood. And Sister Alima and myself have been building on that like offline for, what's this, over a year? We've been
longer than that, probably, yes.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, and we were basically saying, where's the sisterhood? Where's the sisterhood? Where is the sister code? And Sister Alima put a video up on Facebook and she didn't get any response. She was like, yo, elaborate on that, Sister Alima, if you will.
Yeah, so I put the video up maybe over about a year ago now. And, I was just curious from the sisters as to what happened to the bond and the relationship with sisters. And I think I might have got about 5 responses. And I just found that interesting because if I would have put up a post and said, let's talk about what brothers need to do right, one of those hypothetical type of posts, it would have been thousands upon thousands of comments. But it just seemed like when it came to the sisters and us criticizing ourselves and seeing what's wrong with us and why we can't get along, we never seem to have the answers, just all the reasons.
Sister Raziki, I see you shaking your head, sister. You want to add to that?
I was just kind of tuning into my own world just then. But I'm sorry, sis. What?
Oh, okay. No, I put you on a spot, but I was just basically saying, she was just basically saying that she put up a post and she asked the question like, what's up with the sisterhood?
Oh.
Where's the love and loyalty and devotion, that sisterhood bond that we used to have for each other? So like, let's go back in antiquity right now.
Yeah.
And the book that I'm going to reference that I got this information out of, I'm a huge fan of this sister's work. Her name is Ife Amadoume, and she wrote a book called Male Daughters, Female Husbands. I know that sounds crazy, but you got to read the book. Male Daughters, Female Husbands. And in that book, the sister is describing her tribe. It's called the Nobi tribe in Igbo land in Nigeria. And she talked about the bond and that the women had with one another. She said, in fact, women participated in every life cycle with each other. So when you first had your period, it was your sisters who were around you and talking you through it. When you came into your womanhood and you were ready to have a child, the sisters would train you up. You had a rites of passage for the sisters, where you bonded, with the sisters who I guess were, and went through the rites of passage with you. When you got married, the sisters would perform fertility rituals with you.
Yeah.
When you gave birth, the sisters were there for you. When there was a funeral, the sisters were there for you. So there were rituals that we used to perform with each other. So in essence, we were involved in virtually every aspect. I'm talking about different aspects of our lives. It was the sisterhood that was there for you. Do you want to elaborate on that, Sister Raziki?
Yeah. So first I wanted to address like the whole what happened question, like Sister Alima was talking about. And again, I got to give a shout out to like Grand Trine University. This is where I developed like a lot of my tantric training. But again, like tantric isn't all about sex, but we learn about the value of sisterhood as well. And so what like we talk about is a lot of sisters are, living by this scarcity model, right? So it's like when you feel like life is scarce, that there isn't enough, that's when you're cutthroat. That's when you're jealous. That's when you'll, the whole crabs in a barrel kind of mentality. And and I shared this picture on my page. It was a ritual where, we wanted to channel certain qualities of the universe that many would call Het Haru, right? She is, feminine qualities. She is sensuality, sexuality, all that stuff. And so during the ritual, you're right, there was one particular sister who we were uplifting. So we bathed her. we rubbed her down, and now, she has on no clothes, but this is our sister. So we're bathing our sister. All we need our sister to do is just, like get in her mindset, tap into that feminine energy. We're bathing her. We're rubbing her down with oils. We're chanting to her. We're dressing her. We're doing her hair. And even like when girls go on their first date, this is something that we did. We would come over, we'd hype her up, we help her we may not bathe her, but we'll help her get dressed, do her hair. Yeah, girl, you got him, all that other stuff. And even like you said, one of the things when women have children, some of them suffer this whole postpartum depression. And I would, read books or look at old movies where, the woman had the child, the women would come over with food and, stories and, just to lift her up. But again, I don't think we see the value in that anymore, or we just feel like it's not needed. And I feel like once a woman gets to experience what that is, she's going to see why it's needed, and she'll appreciate it more, and she'll start living from a perspective of abundance to where she doesn't have to be jealous of her sister. She don't have to step on her sister's toes. She don't have to be the crab in the bucket trying to bring her sister down. So it is definitely a combination of, fear, scarcity, and like lack of self-esteem. It's a combination of a lot of things.
Sister Alima, do you want to add to that, sis?
No, not at this time.
Okay, all right. Sister Waukesha, you wanna add anything, sis?
No, I mean, I agree with her 100%. I think she nailed it on the head as far as it being a combination of things. And but most importantly, like we've talked before, I mean, a lot of this is just self-love, man. I'm a huge fan and activist for self-love, and really applying those lessons to your life, man. Like I don't really think people really understand being their true selves, and the importance of knowing thyself. It sounds so cliche, but it's so important, because this is what we see when we're dealing with sisters who may act out in jealousy or the crabs in the bucket kind of thing. It's all the reflection of what she sees herself, right? So she project that out into the world. So we just dealing with a lot of broken sisters. So we definitely need to uplift our sisters. If we see that, try to figure out a way to come to the sister and, kind of uplift her. But I agree with Riziki. I think she nailed it though.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this one time, and this was a riff that me and Waukesha had. And it was some jealousy involved on my part, right? So it was a situation where, she's overseas, she's traveling, she making like all this money, and I'm here in Atlanta, like life is mad whack, you know what I'm saying? And there was a point where she was doing things that I felt like I should be doing, and I'm just, and knowing where we came from, right? Like how we were back in the day and how we transitioned. Like my mind was literally like, I mean, why does she deserve that? Knowing how she acts and you know what I mean? And I am looking back, I'm real enough to just be honest. Like, yeah, I was jealous. And there was some stuff that I said to her that was just foul, and it was coming from a place of jealousy. And I mean, like, it tore me up, like, because I made her cry and, all this other stuff. And then it boils down to, like, what she said before. I didn't see the value in myself. Instead of worrying about what she's doing, what she got going on, I had to take a look at my gifts, my ideas, my creativity. What am I able to create? And the more I got into that, the less jealous I became. So now I big up my sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's traveling, making the money, I'm happy for her, because I'm no longer living with a scarcity mindset. I understand if she's making it, I'm making it too.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, she's the one who's like, sis, yo, you want to come to Africa? I got this business idea. If she going, I'm going. Yo, sis, I see what you're doing in Atlanta. I want to invest in this business. If I got it, she got it. You know what I mean? And it comes to this, it's literally like a relationship. And we joke about this like we're dating, but we're really not. We're totally heterosexual. But you know, we make this joke like we're dating, like, oh, you can't call nobody, and I ain't talked to you in so long. And it's because we worry about each other. We need to check in. How is your mind state? How is your emotional state? There's been times I've called her, I'm like, man, can you just compliment me? Because I need to feel good about myself. Man, all right, sis, you know you beautiful, you know you pretty, you know you educate. We do stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's a part of our ego to where we don't want to admit we need that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, get over that ego. It's okay to want compliments.
And you know what, sis? I just want to expound on some of the things you brought to light.
Mm-hmm.
You said, you know what? I was jealous.
Yeah, I was.
A lot of sisters don't admit that. A lot of sisters are jealous of other sisters. It may be the way she looks. It may be the texture of her hair. It could be her complexion, the way she dresses, her educational level. Some sisters are jealous because you have a husband. Oh, she's married and I'm not. I've heard sisters say that. Oh, she's married and I'm not. Oh, she's a housewife and I'm not. Oh, she has a business and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Stop comparing yourselves to your sisters.
Yeah.
But we do things like that. That inhibits us from connecting and bonding with our sisters. So I'm glad when you said, well, what, Alima asked the question. She said, well, what happened to the sisterhood? One thing we can say is jealousy.
Definitely. Jealousy and competition. We are too much in competition with one another. We just really are, especially when it comes to our men, when it comes to our children, when it comes to our houses. Just the competition is ridiculous. Hence comes on the jealousy. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sis.
Kia, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You done, sis? I ain't want to. You good?
Oh yeah, I just had to get that out real quick, Queen. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. But no, like Rizzy said, but I think a good thing is there's a such thing as healthy jealousy, if that makes sense, like a healthy kind of. If I'm using the word right, like, because like
I wouldn't call it jealousy, sis. I would call it inspiration or motivation, because I feel like jealousy is jealousy.
Yeah.
But I would say inspiration or motivation.
Okay.
What she's saying though, because jealousy can be a motivator.
Right. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Example, Kia, give her the example.
I'm trying. Well, the example, like little simple stuff. No, like little simple stuff. Like she had a boyfriend. No, she had a boyfriend before me, right? And I was like, oh, I'm lightweight jealous. And it wasn't like a jealous, like, oh, I hope y'all don't make it type of situation. But it was just like, I need to get me together so that I can start attracting the right man type of situation. It's like, okay, my sis got it going on, let me get myself together so I can attract me a man. I think, that would be my definition of a healthy, But to go back what Raziki said, in the beginning of our relationship, and you got to call it a relationship because that's what it is. We both used to bump heads because we didn't really have that self-love for each other. You know what I mean? Because earlier on in our friendship, I used to be jealous of her. You know what I'm saying? She was in college. She had her stuff together. And I'm just like, dang, this chick younger than me and whatever, why she got this. And so I used to be in those shoes as well. You know what I'm saying? And we bumped heads and we actually stopped being friends for a while. We stopped speaking to each other for a couple of years. Actually.
Hold on, Lima, can you mute your mic? Go ahead, sis Kia.
Okay. We stopped talking for a couple of years because I actually did her very wrong. And that's from me being just immature and not really respecting myself and being considerate of other people's feelings, and most specifically my best friend at that time. And so we failed out. And when we came,
I hope somebody listening to you right now that could take a page out of your book. Go ahead. You said that you did because of what?
I did her wrong. Oh yeah. I did her grimy, man. Actually, we had an apartment together and this girl looked out for me. I mean, she was in college. She was going to school and just taking care of herself, and we had got an apartment together. Actually, she got the apartment in her name because I couldn't get it in my name because I had already had about 5 or 6 apartments I got evicted out of and all kind of craziness. So she got the apartment in her name. We moved in together. We were supposed to be. So I met my son's father and I was in love. And we had just moved into an apartment. And pretty much I just went and told him like, yo, I'm moving out. And, just left her with the bills. And she had actually put a cell phone in my name. I didn't pay the cell phone bill when I left. And so it went on her credit. And, all of that. And I just left and I just, whatever, went on about my life. And I think we went.
Years later, like when I say she tracked down,
it wasn't even that
down and paid back every single dime she owed me.
Yeah. And actually, when I think about it, Riz, it won't even that long. I think it was like 2 years.
Yeah.
It might have been about a 2-year break. And I tracked her down. I found her on MySpace or something like that. And she was living in Atlanta. Well, I knew she was in Atlanta. And I called her up. And, and I don't remember specifically, but I know I told her, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And I sent her the money to pay off everything I owed her.
Yeah,
because that was the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And I genuinely love this girl, and from the time I met her, she always been my superstar, no homo. But she always been my superstar. And I always was the one to be like, yo, you are the shit, man. Like always been that type. So when we got into that last big riff we got into a couple years ago, it really hit our relationship hard, man, because I'm just like, wait a minute, dude. Like you said, if I got, you got. Me and this girl been doing business with each other since freaking 08, 07. You know what I'm saying? And if I got it, you got it. If she got it, I got it. That's just how that works. If I'm winning, you win it. And that's how it goes.
Let me add to that right now. Like, what happened to that with sisters? Like you said, if you have it, I have it. If your babies are running around outside and I see that they're hungry, you get what I'm saying? They say that I'm hungry, I see that they're hungry, or I see that, they're being unsupervised. What happened to mothers stepping up and just being mothers to children outside of the children in their household? Just saying, okay, like you said, if I got it, you got it. So, hey, do you need a cup of sugar? Do you need some butter? What do you need? My sister, here you go. Are your children hungry? Or are my children hungry? I'm talking about that. That's sisterhood. You get what I'm saying? Where we cry together, where we pray together, where we rejoice together. That's sisterhood. Where we build, where we grow. That sort of sisterhood.
Yeah, I think it's a pride thing because I know for me, I have an issue with that to this day, like admitting you need help. Also too, because when we admit that, we're in fear of judgment. We're in fear of, like being labeled as a failure. And some of us just don't want to be told that we're wrong. Some of us don't want to hold ourselves accountable. And I think that plays a very, very big part. And as a matter of fact, like when we got into that riff a couple years ago, and I laugh at it to this day, but she called me a couple days later. She was like, yo, bipolar disorder type 2. I was like, what? She was like, son, I think you got bipolar disorder because and she's been there through my many mood swings. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when that happened, I know there was a kind of love there. I was like, wow, like that's really my sister, to sit up there and analyze the situation and then try to diagnose.
But it was true. But I found an article and I was reading it, and through the article, it was Rizzy to the T, yo. I said, I have to call her and tell her, you have bipolar type 2. It's okay. Now I get it.
But let me add to that. But at least, Riziki, you were open to her criticism. You have some women. Who cannot accept constructive criticism. You criticize them and they take it as you're trying to disrespect them or you're putting them down, when simply you've made an observation and you bring it to your sister. And I guess it must be in your presentation,
Exactly. I was just about to say that. It's all in your delivery. Everything is all in the way you present it. Because everything you could say to me could be 100% factual. But if you don't come at me in a way that I can relate to, that makes me feel comfortable and secure, I'm not going to hear you.
That's true.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It is, and I know I've been in a situation where I got a friend of mine. She's I met her in Afghanistan, and I was on the bus, and I think I was going on R&R or something like that. And I was just talking, and I used to use the B word a lot. Be this, be that. You know how you call your friends B. And Rizzy had for years was back then, Rizzy, chill out. Anyway, you know how you call your friends B, and I would call Rizzy that, and she would check me. She would be like, "I'm not a B." At that point, I didn't get it. I was like, "Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever. You want some? I don't even know." And so when I was in Afghanistan, I met this other girl. I couldn't quite receive it from Rizzy, so I met this other girl who was my peer, and I'm on the bus and I'm talking and I'm just like, be this, be that, nigga this, nigga that, blah, blah, blah. And she stopped me and she said, ma'am, I know I don't know you, but are you listening to yourself? I said, no. She said, well, I've been listening to you, and this is my peer, and you've said the B word at least 11 times and the N word at least 12. I counted it. And I'm like, well, I haven't been listening to myself like that to be counting how many times I said it. But she said, but that's not becoming. She said, I'm going to tell you that that is not becoming at all. And I was just so shocked, but the way she delivered, I was able to receive it, and it actually clicked. And I was like, okay, well, Rizzy had been telling me that, but I couldn't receive it. It wasn't like she was saying it in a nasty way. I just didn't receive it from her then. But when she said it, it resonated with me. And from that point on, I made a vow that I would never call another woman a B, let alone a Black woman a B. And I would never call another brother or sister the N word. I would never use that. And going forward, that was just something that I was able to receive from another sister. And even just in our relationship between Rizzy and I, we've grown tremendously with each other, and we're able to criticize each other like, yo, if you gonna ask me the truth, I'm gonna give you the truth. Do you think I'm messed up? Yeah, you could have done A, B, and C. Or no, sis, you did it the right way. But it has to be honesty and transparency in relationships or friendships, too, I think.
Can I go back to what you were talking about, Dr. Mayat, when you asked the question? You said, why is it that we don't look out for, each other's children and look out for each other? And I think a lot of that goes back to, we don't realize that we didn't grow up that way. Like, ask yourself, maybe you did, I know I did, because I saw my mother look after everybody. Mm-hmm. But did you see, in general, did you see the elders looking out for the young sisters? You know what I'm saying? Did you see your aunties or just people in your community looking out for one another just on average? You didn't see that. Most of us didn't see that. So it doesn't resonate with us. I don't even really think it's that we don't care. I think it just doesn't resonate with a lot of us that, hey, maybe I should think about more than myself. Especially growing up in this European paradigm where everything's about you, focus on you. So we've lost sense of our cultural aspect of family. Because when I went to Senegal, when I say, like, I just felt so welcome. And like, I never met these people. They don't know me at all, but they really made me feel like family. And I'm just walking around and just taking it all in. I see just random kids, like I was telling Dr. Mayat, just walking down the street, sisters just handing them bottles of water. They don't know those kids, but they know it's hot outside. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It's that village mentality. We don't have that mentality here. Mm-hmm. And we have to really stress that in our children. I try to stress that in mine a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, we really need to look out for each other more. We got to teach that, because like we knew that and then it was taken away. So we got to reteach it again.
Yeah. And then too, sis, to back you up, some parents just, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes, and I don't like to say badass kids. I don't like to use that term, but I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. Some of these kids is bad as hell. And some of these parents don't want to take accountability for how their children are acting outside in these streets. So if an adult like such as myself was to come to this parent like, hey, listen, I heard your son and or daughter cussing, they was, you know what I'm saying, whatever, they'll get an attitude with me. Like I did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think that also plays a part as to, you know, why we no longer have that kind of concept, because like we discussed earlier, we don't know how to take criticism, rather it's for our own selves or for our children, because some women will get offended saying that, you know, well, what, are you trying to call me a bad mother? No, I understand you're not with them 24/7. Maybe you can improve on some of the things, which is like normal. Like my mom always said, parenting doesn't come with a handbook, and you can't expect to be the perfect parent. So if another sister is coming to you saying, hey sis, you know, this is what's going on, I saw your children doing it, you know what I mean, it will make you reflect on yourself. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And a lot of people just get touchy on that subject as parents. And same thing when you went to Senegal, you know, when Kia and I, like I said, when we went to Kenya, you know, the children was calling us auntie, you know, and you don't know what's from a can of paint, but when you call me that, I do feel some sort of obligation to look out for you while you're under my supervision. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to, again, a lot of these sisters just don't want to be told about themselves in a nutshell. And women, we can be very brutally honest. And it comes with developing that relationship to where you know how to talk to this particular person so that they can receive what you're trying to say.
And then another thing that I want to talk about is accountability. Sisters, I noticed that we don't hold each other accountable for our actions. Like, for example, can you imagine if you saw a sister out in public and, you know, she was just showing everything or behaving a certain way or doing something that you found this, first of all, we need to develop a standard. It's just like, where's the standard? And I want to definitely, the last few moments of the show, build on the sister code, but there needs to be some sort of sister code, some sort of code of conduct that we hold our sisters to. And then once we develop this code of conduct, then implement some sort of accountability system where sisters can say, look, sister, you're not exhibiting the proper decorum, you know, in public. Because we have to understand that as women, you don't just represent, you know, your mommy and your aunties, right? And your nieces. You represent Black women when you step outside. You are a representation of me. And so what I also see a lack in is accountability. Like when sisters are wrong about something, someone just pulling you aside and say, sister, you know what? That was wrong. You know, when you did X, Y, and Z, that was wrong. Or when you said this, that was wrong. It's like a lot of us just want to go along to get along, you know, if you understand what I mean. It's just like you don't want to create any waves with this person. So you're scared to say, you know what, sister, your actions were wrong, you know, and that sister should be able to receive that. And like Sister Alima said, it's all in your delivery. Yes. But even if you know, I know with some sisters, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but with some sisters, no matter how nice you say it to them, it's an attack. No matter how respectful you say it to them, it's an attack. So we have to hold each other accountable for our actions. And see, in Africa, and I'm going back to Ifa Amadoume's work, in her tribe, she was telling me they had something called the African Women's Council, where you violated somebody, you were brought in front of a board, because what they had was something called a dual sex system. So in this dual sex system, women had their organization and men had their organization, and the men held each other accountable for their actions, and the women held each other accountable for their actions. And so if a woman did something or violated another sister, maybe she stole something, maybe she didn't pay her back some money, maybe she cursed her out, maybe she slept with her husband, then that sister was brought in front of the council, and the council imposed some sort of punishment on that sister that she had to adhere to. Where's our council? So when women get out of pocket, who steps up to hold these sisters accountable for their actions? So where's our African council for women? We don't have one. Where's our system of accountability? We don't have one. So you have sisters going around sleeping with each other's husbands. I've actually got into it with sisters, you know, like, how could you, you know, and then one sister said, well, he told me that he was separated from the wife, and that's why you don't don't know what's going on with that man. Go ahead, Sister Riziki. Speak to him, sis.
Because you already know that story I told you before. And this was profound when it comes to the whole sleeping with other sister husband. Right now, some of us sisters, we are guilty of sleeping with another man's husband, knowing that the man was married. Some of us honestly did not know. And I shared this story with Dr. Mayat because for me, this was like very profound. And Kia, when I say the story, I think you're going to remember because I remember calling you and telling you about it. But when we was in Kenya, you know, I got my groove back. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I went on and got me, you know what I'm saying, a little Mandingo John. And coming to find out, look, I keep it real, kid. Don't hide your face. I keep shit real. We're not going to sit up here and act like we ain't grown. We can't be honest and transparent. This is how the healing starts. So I got my freak on a little bit. I got my freak on a lot. And so coming to find out when I got back to America, or actually while I was there, I think I found out when he was married. Or
yeah.
no. Okay,
it was like he was there the last night or something like that.
Right, exactly. And so, you know, when I came back to America, you know, he had hit me up and we talking. And I'm just like, man, you know, that ain't cool, blah, 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 blah. And then the next message I get said, you will not break up my family. And I was like, who is this? And it happened to be the man's wife, right? And so, you know, I was like, look, sis, I am not trying to break up your family. I promise you I didn't know all this other stuff. And we had like, you know, a little conversation because she was telling me the stress that they was going through, you know, trying to get pregnant, all this other stuff. And she said, can you make me a promise that you will never talk to him again? And I said, I promise you I will not talk to him again. She said, thank you, my sister. I love you. And I was like really taken aback how, you know, she came to me knowing I had slept with her husband. Okay. And, you know, we made this agreement, you know, and I felt like it was a part of my duty to not be a part of breaking up that family or contributing to why, you know what I'm saying, he keeps stepping out on his wife. So for me, for her to say, thank you, my sister, and I love you, I was like, wow, I love you too, sis. And I kept my promise. You know what I'm saying? So that was very, very, very.
And that was powerful, Riziki, because you have some sisters who you'll call them and say, man, you know, you're sleeping with my significant other. And they will continue to see the guy. They will continue to see him.
Sure.
Like that's not my problem, or that's not, you know, they continue to see the guy. But and you know that what you did when you shared this story with me, it showed character. You know, once you told me this story, I said, wow, it really elucidated your character. That you're not that type of woman. You didn't sleep with this guy knowing that he was married, but some women have bad character. They have poor character.
And they advocate being the side chick. You got women out here advocating being side chicks.
Yeah, that's the new trend now. That's the new trend.
I don't understand that dynamic, and and I don't know if they're realizing the damage that they're contributing to. And one sister, she, you know, she's very prideful about it because she's like, well, actually, I'm helping your marriage and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, you know, I have no other, and I try not to judge people, but I'm just like, yo, that is just so, excuse my expression, fucking trifling. Because, you know, how can you be happy participating in betrayal, even though you as a woman, you're not obligated to that other woman. You're not. But you're advocating bad behavior. You're advocating dishonesty. It's one thing if the marriage is an open marriage, right? But it's a total other thing if this man is keeping his affair a secret and you're contributing to that bad energy and you're not understanding the psychological and emotional effects that it contributes to. And I'm gonna pause someone at my door.
Now go ahead, sis. But she's right. And I mean, and then they popularized sleeping with husbands. Remember the Salt and Pepper song? If you mess with me, I take your man. Like
exactly.
That became popular. You know, like oh my gosh, you know, where were those 5 million women then? You know, but anyway, but that became popular. And like Sister Riziki said, it's now acceptable and popular to be the side chick. Women gloat about that. I actually have a buddy of mine, and I'm not gonna put a name out there, but she's like, look, you know, I date married men because she said, I don't want the headache. I don't want a full-time, you know, relationship with a guy. So she'll date married men, you know, because she's like, at the end of the day, he has to go home to his wife. So she said, look, I spend his money. She said, you know, we have sex, we have fun, and then I send him back home to his wife, you know. And I have several female friends, you know, associates who have that mentality. And I'm like, sis, do you understand what you're doing to that household? If that woman finds out, do you understand the emotional hurt and mental anguish it's going to take this woman through? But again, like Sister Alima says, we live in a society where we think about self. It's about you. And it's never about the other person. It's never about the other sister. It's about you, your emotional wants, and your emotional needs. You know
what I think the side chick thing, sis, another thing that has become very popular is because it's finance based. A lot of women make their living off being a side chick. Like, because, you know, the husbands or the other spouses, they don't want you to say anything. So they hit you off with all types of money and gifts, and, you know, just keep it to yourself. And it's the financial aspect of it. So a lot of women are caking off being side women. They really are. And they don't mind because of the money. Because I have to ask myself, if the money was not included, would you be a willing side chick? And I really doubt that. It's not a lot of sisters that's willing to be a side chick for a broke dude. Because what are you getting besides penis? Like, it's got to be another incentive. And typically that other incentive is money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it like you said, it just goes back. And there was an interesting comment in the chat because, of course, the question is, well, where's the men's responsibility in all of this, though? And I think this is where the point's getting missed. If you have no women influencing this behavior,
talk about it.
But to act damn right. You know what I'm saying? Like, people understand that men act because of what we allow them to do, what we allow them to get away with. So imagine if there was a man in the community and all the women had standards of, no, you know, I'm not messing with you because I know you married. Does your wife know? Whatever. He ain't got no choice but to act right. Exactly. I mean, come on. So and not to talk against the sister, but this is another one of our issues is like we deflect, right? Like we're talking about our accountability. Well, what about him? We ain't talking about him. We talking about us and how we play a part. A man can't cheat with another woman if another woman don't participate.
Exactly.
So that's just what that is.
Exactly. And you're right. We do have a habit of deflecting. You know, when I talk about women, you know, just being better mothers, you know, to children. And, you know, I hear women say, well, what about the men? Dr. Mayat, what about the men? What about the men? I can't control as a mother. We can't control what the man does. We can only control what we do. So as sisters, I'm going to talk to you about what we can do to better our children. I'm not going to sit there and talk about what he needs to be doing. You know, I'm going to talk about what we need to do. But a lot of sisters will deflect again, like Sister Riziki said. They'll say, well, what about the man? What about him? Well, if he's not present, well, what about you? What are you doing? You know, and this is called personal accountability. And a lot of people, men and women, don't like to accept or personal accountability. A lot of them don't. They deflect from personal accountability. That's a deflect tactic. Or what about her? What about him? No, what about me? What was my contribution and role in this disaster? Like when I talk about the destruction of the family and I talk about women's role in that, sisters say, well, hold on, Dr. Maya, you beating up the women. Because I'm talking about the women's role in that. And I can only speak from a woman's perspective. And if you want to talk about the men's role in it, yes, we could build and talk about what I think the men are doing wrong. But I think it would be more powerful for the men to come together and figure out what they're doing wrong. Because I've come to realize that men at times are able to accept certain criticisms from other men than they do women. So I might come at the brother and say, man, you were out of order. You did this, you did that. You know, he might say, oh, man, Dr. Maya, she's speaking on emotions, man, that female. But then let a brother come to him and say, man, brother, look, you know, that was wrong, you know, and vice versa for women. You know, for example, with women who menstruate, when we come on our cycles, let's say that a woman is cycling and she has an older. If a man tells her, hey, sweetheart, man, no matter how nice he says it, hey, sweetheart, I know, I don't know if you're cycling or what, but I smell an odor. She would be embarrassed and she would be highly offended. But if a sister comes to her, I'm not saying that she won't be, that it's a guarantee that she won't be, on the defense, but she's more likely, to accept that criticism. Hey, sis, look, I think, you're bleeding through your pants. I see some, or look, sis, I smell, a little bit, you're more receptive to that. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, I was just going off on a tangent, Sisters Riziki, but go ahead. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, that's it. But real quick, big shout out to Mom Dukes. What up, Mom?
What's up, Mom Dukes?
So look, real quick, Mom, we talking about the importance of sisterhood.
Hey, Mom.
That's Kia. Kia, yeah.
Hi, how you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over. She don't understand that technology can make us communicate in long distance places. Okay. So we talking about the importance of sisterhood, and I know like my mom's had this best friend, Miss Henny, for like forever. So we're just talking about why we think females aren't able to get along as much anymore. What's your take on that?
That's your school.
No, come on. See,
Go
you
ahead,
know
go
what?
ahead.
Oh, man, come on, Ma. Come on, Ma.
From the elder. From the elder. Well, like, okay, let me ask you this.
What's the question?
The question is, why do you think like women have an issue getting along? Like the
Jealousy, always in each other's business.
Okay.
They need to mind their business and come together and help each other as opposed to pulling each other apart.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right.
bottom line
Say that,
is
Mama.
stay out of each other's business.
Okay. So when you say stay out of each other's business, what do you mean on that?
If you're a close friend,
Mhm.
if you're a close friend,
Mhm.
then yeah, you can be in the business if you're like a sister.
Right.
But if you're
Right.
not, then you need to really mind your business because you don't know what you may say, how it may offend that person because you don't know that person like you know your bestie.
Right.
So
That's in a nutshell.
in a nutshell, mind your business if you don't know her like that.
Okay.
Mind your business.
Mind your
Okay,
business.
Mom.
Just mind your business.
Business. Like it was years and years ago.
How was it years ago? This is what we was talking about, like that village mentality, like when
Right.
you grew up, like
Right.
everybody looked up.
Everybody respected each. There's no respect no more. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of things
Mhm.
that has changed now.
Mhm.
So the way things were years ago is
They're not there no
not
more.
there. It's not
So
there no
so
more.
when we was talking about like how parents will look out for each other's children,
right?
why do you feel like you're not able to do that today?
Because now the government is all in our business. If you so much as try to discipline your children, not everybody abuse their children.
Mhm.
Some children deserve an ass whooping. Excuse my expression.
Okay, Mom.
Depending on what they do.
Yeah.
Of course, if you love your child, you ain't gonna abuse and beat them till they black and blue.
Right.
But you can't discipline your child now. So as a parent, if you can't apply discipline, the neighborhood can't apply discipline. I've had my behind whooped by neighbors several times. I got my behind whooped by neighbors and then got home and got whooped again by my parents. But you can't do that no more. Because even if the mother touched child abuse, I always told mine.
Okay, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. Okay, cut her mic. Okay, so
That was wrong, man. That was wrong. That was wrong, man.
you know what I'm saying? See, she talking about busting caps. But my mom was always the one. She'd be like, "Hey, I'll give you the phone," because I had a lot of butt whippings. But anyway, we talking about sisterhood. Okay.
Yeah, and another thing I want to mention is that, I feel like sisters don't come to the defense of other sisters anymore. When you know clearly that a sister is being violated, you got sisters who won't even speak up, to even censure what's going on, to say that is wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like to say this is wrong or that is wrong. Sisters don't defend each other anymore. And see, now my mind is going back. I always like to take it back to antiquity, and I always like to put things into an African perspective. But in the Nobi tribe, which Ife Amadou speaks about in her book, Male Daughters and Female Husbands, she talks about how there was a situation in the village many years ago where women were coming up missing. You know, they would go missing, and then, you know, weeks later they would find the body of these sisters who were missing. And so they felt like some man was going around and he was violating women in the community. And so what the Sisterhood did was they went on strike. They shut down the village. They did no cooking, cleaning, or had sex. Okay, so they completely shut down the village. When they shut down the village, after they shut down the village, they gathered all of the men in that village, and they made them vow that they never hurt a woman, and they made them drink a concoction. Basically, well, they made them, they made them take an oath or make a statement that they didn't violate the woman, and they had to drink some sort of concoction to say, you know, that they never would. You know, it was like they said that they never would, and it was sealed with some sort of drinking of some sort of concoction. I say all that, I give you that example just to show you how bonded the sisters was. So when the sisters were coming up missing, they shut the town down. They went on strike. They didn't cook. They didn't clean. They didn't have sex. And then they gathered the men to say, wait a minute, who is violating these women? And then they said, no, you need to come one by one and let us know, have you violated a woman? And then they had to drink some sort of concoction, you know, to solidify, or to, I don't know, you know how the ancestors were with the concoctions and all of that, but they had to drink some sort of concoction that they would never do it, you know, something to that effect. But I give you that example to show you how the sisterhood stood up for each other. Sisters don't stand up for each other. And a matter of fact, something will happen to a sister and we act like she deserved it. Oh no, she probably deserved that ass whipping. We don't even come together and stand up for one another anymore. We don't even fight. We don't even come together to fight. You know, my mind goes back to the homie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right correctly, Sister Alima. But then we had the in Benin, you had the homie tribe. I believe those women were called the homie. They would fight together. You had the Kandeki. They would fight together. You know, even during the colonial period in Nigeria and Igbo land and the Nobi tribe, the women came together and they shut down the marketplace and they rioted. When do we come together? And I'm not talking about locking hands with European women. I'm talking about African women coming together to protect each other, to fight with each other, I'm talking about to ride with each other, to support each other. That sort of sisterhood. That's what needs to be reinstated right here in America. You know, I'm an African-centered woman, so I always put things into an African perspective. But that's what we need to reinstitute here in America, a strong sisterhood. So now you look, I know that, we're pressed for time, it's 2:21. I want to close out in 9 minutes. But during these 9 minutes, these last 9 minutes, 5 of it I want to spend on the sister code. What code do you ladies think? Like what characteristics need to be included in this code, a sister code?
Mm-hmm. Number 1 being integrity. I am huge on integrity. That's my one. I only got one. Integrity.
Mm-hmm. Sister code. I'm going to say vulnerability. Because and it kind of goes hand in hand with pride. Because a lot of us will not be vulnerable and, like I said, admit our faults, admit we need help because of pride and ego. And once that's out the way, we have a better chance of being more honest and transparent with each other. And that is what builds trust.
I was just gonna say that we need to be honest. Tell your sister how you really feel. If she hurt you, let her know. Don't go tell 10 other sisters, sister such and such did this. Go talk to her. We have to build our relationships back. Like seriously, because we don't have relationship. Our relationship skills are lacking with each other, and we need to be honest with each other and talk to your sister. And you know what? Keep it 100. There's a lot of fakeness going on with the sisters now. Where they, oh sis, I'ma call you. Oh, I didn't see your call. Oh, I'll get back with you. It's a month later. Now you calling. Like, if you're gonna be a friend and be a sister, then be a sister. Don't be one of those temporary sisters where I can only talk to you because when you want to vent. or when you have a need. But when I have a need, you're never readily available because you don't build relationships like that. It's like if you're in a relationship with a man, you got to give as much as you take. So we have to work on that as well, our friendships. Before we even talk about building the sisterhood, we need some friendships around here because we're not even friends with each other.
Right. Another sister in the chat room said respect, which is very, very huge, and it went back to like what Wakeisha was talking about earlier, like when that was in her vocabulary to use the B word, and when every time I would be like, yo, don't call me that, but she would do it again, I felt a lack of respect for my feelings, or like how I felt was invalidated. It wasn't as important. So I think like, respect, being considerate, and understanding, each other's friendship language. Like, I don't know if people saw this article about love language, how people receive or show love in different ways. One person may be gifts, one person may be communication, one person may be acts of kindness. And this is why we say like these sisterhoods are literally a relationship, because you do have to understand each other's language.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, I want to add to that accountability. Accountability. If you see your sister is out of pocket and she's wrong, say something. These women are running around disrespecting themselves, disrespecting the men, disrespecting the children, and no one says anything. Say something. Hold each other accountable. If you know your girlfriend is out of pocket, this is the girlfriend that's out of pocket, say something. And I actually just terminated a friendship with somebody we were friends since 2004. So we're looking at, this would have been 13 years of friendship, because I was a mirror to her. I would hold the mirror up. Oh man, sister, you were wrong. You were sleeping with this husband. No, that was wrong, sis. You shouldn't be sleeping with somebody's husband. Oh, sis, you're wrong. You shouldn't be bringing these estranged men around your children. To the point, I'm talking about to the point where me and this sister got into an argument. We got into an argument. And I was like, yo, as your friend, I'm not just going to sit back. If I am truly your friend, it is no way that I can sit back and witness your self-destruction and not say anything to you. That's not friendship. That's being an enabler. And there's no way that I'm going to be an enabler to you and then tell you that I love you. So yes, I am going to tell you that you're wrong for going around sleeping with different men. I'm going to tell you, no, you're not valuing yourself. You're not valuing your womb. You're not valuing yourself as a woman. When you bring estranged men around your children, yes, I am going to tell you about all the dangers of bringing estranged men into your household. You have a daughter who's in puberty. Do you want her to come to you 10 years later and say, Ma, remember when you had Mr. So-and-so in the house? Well, he molested me. And this is the type of conversations that I have with women, and they get upset with Dr. Oyamayat because I tell the truth. And I'm going to continue to tell the truth. That's why I gave myself the last name, Ma'at. I'm going to continue to tell the truth. And people can get mad at me all they want.
Yeah, sis,
but hold on, let me finish.
That's what I just wanted to know.
But yeah, I mean,
you was going in, and I'm going to tell the truth. That's right.
It's accountability. People don't like to be held accountable for your actions. You want to say anything, you want to do anything, and you don't want anybody to say anything.
See, and Kia, it's a mutual, whatever. It's a mutual acquaintance, we know. But the exact same thing you said was kind of why I had to distance myself. I mean, this sister, we was cool, but because it was due to her lack of self-love, and because her father wasn't around, she just had a lot of men in and out her house trying to find good fathers for her babies, and it in turn turned to her dealing with the wrong kind of men. She had ended up going to jail. The kids had to go get sent off somewhere to somebody else's house where they ended up getting molested. Yep. And so when I talk to her, and it's not about rubbing it in your face, but I'm like, do you see what your decisions do? Like, your decisions don't just affect you, but now your children, then, like, there's no reason why a 6-year-old know what it's like to have a penis in her mouth. Are you kidding me? Like, you know what I'm saying? This should wake you up to a certain, and it's sad because there are there's girls that I know whose father molested him and their mother's still with the man, still with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, where is the accountability? Where is the mother's friends and sisters and, you know what I mean? Like the family coming to her. Are you kidding me right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we afraid of? Some women are so afraid to be alone. They will put themselves and their children through hell just for the sake of having somebody. You know what I mean? And in those cases, it's when the sisterhood is important to step in. There's been times when Kia didn't watch the dude I messed with punch me in my face. You don't think we both got out the car and jumped his ass?
Thank you.
I was going to bring that incident up, but I did not want to.
Boo, you can look.
But that was about right, and that was about us standing up for our sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was crazy. Like in my face, like, this happened.
Did he just punch you in the face? And mind you, I'm twisted. I'm like, yeah, I think he did just punch me in my face. And we sure enough got out the car and we went in on that ass. So
but even after that, my next thing to do was to bring her with me. I lived in Savannah, Georgia, and she was in Atlanta. Well, I lived in Hinesville, but whatever. Savannah, Georgia. I was stationed in and so when I got ready to leave, I said, you cannot stay here. You will not be staying here. You're going to come down to Fort Stewart with me for a week. Because I'm not going to leave you here with this abusive man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But that was just one of the incidents, you know, where, I mean, look, we done been through so much in our friendship where we've experienced each thing you've pointed out and got through it, but understood that we had to be honest with each other. We had to be transparent. We had to be real with her. I had to tell her straight up, Rizzy, you messing up, yo.
Yeah.
You need to get your life together.
Yeah.
You really do. I say you don't need to be in no predicament like that. You know better. You know, and
you made me come back with you.
Huh?
Yeah, I made you come back a week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah.
Wow. So like you say, that's the importance of sisterhood. And I hear what you're saying. Ladies. We need to develop a sisterhood code, you know, that includes, you know, integrity. I heard integrity. I heard vulnerability, transparency. I've heard honesty. I've heard respect. I've heard accountability. And that's something that we need to work on. You know, loyalty. And loyalty. Thank you. You know, we need to develop a sisterhood, a code of decorum, you know, a code of decorum. And we need some sort of body or organization or system in place to enforce that, you know, and where sisters know, you know, yes, you will be brought before these sisters who will talk about this behavior and censure this behavior. Yes, we will be vocal about that. You get what I'm saying? We need that. And the last thing I wanted to bring up, because Sister Alima and I, we talked about this offline, how the sisters need to come together. I'm so tired of hearing this sister say, I have this platform, or I'm starting this up, or I'm starting that up. Sister Alima and I were talking about that, saying, why is it that we can't come together and build one organization? And right now, I actually have two sisters in my mind right now. One of them, if I call the name, you know who she is. She has a lot of followers, but she organized. I remember maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I stepped to her and I'm like, sis, you know, we should start this organization. You know, you have a lot of influence. I have a lot of influence. And we need to really, you know, use our influence to pull our sisters together. And the sisters told me, you know, oh yeah, I think about it, woo, 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 woo. And then next, you know, I'm not even gonna call out her little organization, but now she has an organization. She's on Facebook talking about join up this. I got a group of sisters. I said, wow.
Took your idea. See,
wow.
That's another thing. Go ahead.
I'm like, wow. You know, then you have other sisters that I tried to bring in and start a sisterhood group. No, they don't want to join, but they want to start their own sisterhood group. Where is the unifying? Where, you know,
that's the
solidarity.
That's the ego, sis, because some people will purposely not be a part of something because they didn't think of it, or because they're not the head, they're not the lead. You know what I mean? So that's ego. And there's a couple of sisterhoods, you know, who say they're strong in sisterhood, but there's members dropping out, you know, certain sisters taking each other's ideas, or, you know, and not giving proper credit or respect due. It's a lot of cattiness, jealousy.
That's that ego. That's that. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Maya.
No, go ahead, Sister Wakeisha. Go ahead.
No. I mean, she right. That's the ego. And just, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm because I know we drawing it out. But I mean, just even dealing with her and I and her business, her baby was Nature's Crown, and I came on board because, first off, it's freaking brilliant, and it just made sense to collaborate with my best friend anyway, to do it. But even going in, I understood, first off, this was your project, your baby. You should get the recognition for what you've put into your business, and you should get obviously more shares in the company because it's your business, and I'll take the back door because this is what you've been doing. You've already put in the work. I just want to be a part of the movement. I just want to be a part of, you know what we're building. But I didn't go into it like, oh, now I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do this and whoop the whoop the whoop. No, it's hers, and I'm okay with that. And so it's a lot of ego and pride. And I know me, for one, coming from a very egotistical background. I used to be very, very, very egotistical. So for me to play the background now, I've certainly learned over the course of time to just chill, whatever.
I love it, boo.
But what I want to add is this: there's no head. You get what I'm saying? I don't, building with the sisters, I don't look at it like I'm the head. I asked, yes, it may have been my idea to say, okay, come on, y'all, let's get together and let's start this thing. Let's keep this thing going. But I'm not the head. We move as one. We move as one. It is no such thing as I'm the head. If I'm the head, then so is Riziki, so is Sister Wakeisha, so is Sister Alima, so is Sister Kaba, and any other sister who's joining us. You got Sister Olivia. This sister's always in the chat room. You got Sister Ayana. They're the heads also. So it's not just Dr. Mayat. It's me. And when I say it's me, it's all of us, And see, I put a video on my Facebook page 2 weeks ago, and it was a video of Dr. Amos Wilson speaking about an individual. And he said, there's no such thing as an individual. He said, being an individual is a social fiction, because he said, the only way for you to be a true individual, he said, if you go to outer space and live, because that's when you can be a true individual. But as long as you are here and a part of some social order, some social community, you are not an individual. You are a part of a community. You are a part, but you are not an individual. You get what I'm saying? And I put that video on my Facebook page. So there's no such thing as an individual. There's no such thing as a head. We're all heads. If someone want to use that terminology, then all of us are leaders. Not just Dr. Oya, not just Alima, not Sister Wakeisha or Sister Kaba or Sister Riziki. We are all heads. Okay, so look, the sisters are ready to roll. But before we go, please, sisters, tell the viewers what you are involved in. I'll go last because I know I could be a little bit lengthy. But please shout out all of your endeavors so people will know where to find you and what you are involved in.
Rizzy, go ahead, and you gonna speak for us?
Yeah. Okay. So again, myself and Sister Wakeisha, we are the heads of Nature's Crown International. And going back to what we talked about, making America great again, we are a platform that allows individuals who produce and manufacture their own products. We offer a platform for you to actually sell and get it to the marketplace. We also provide services of building gardens for people. We give health and wellness workshops on healthy eating. We're also getting into the eco-friendly housing. So Nature's Crown, the vision is for this company to be like Earth's newest ally, down to the things we produce and even the relationships that we build within each other through agriculture, education, and a healthy lifestyle. And as far as my individual efforts, again, I do offer, workshops in, relationship building, tantra. And again, I really would like to encourage everybody to order these books. And the reason why I'm saying to order this is because we on this show, we talked a lot about the ego. We talked a lot about insecurities and jealousies. And this is the man who taught me. His name is Yao Morris. He is a brother. And this book is called Awakening the Master Feminine. This book walks you through, how you became the person you are today through, certain negative experiences. When we go through those experiences, we develop these characteristics and personalities that really are not us. And a lot of the reasons why we're not able to sustain authentic relationships is because we don't even have an authentic relationship with our damn self. Like, I'm still getting to know me, so the negative womb imprint, healthy sexuality, relating to men, awakening these faculties in us to make us full and complete functional women that are healthy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then for the brothers, he didn't leave y'all out. This is Awakening the Master Masculine. So this book actually helps me understand more how to communicate with them. And even, I'm in a relationship and I contribute to my mate developing his qualities through understanding the certain faculties that he needs to bring online. So, that's my work. So when we deal with, building healthy relationships between man and woman, this is why I started learning Tantra, because it definitely takes you along that journey. And that's all I gotta say.
And your book, and your.
Oh, and okay. All right. And my other, that's why she my sis. So I did also write an ebook called Lunar Alignment. And I know a lot of my people out there, big shout out to y'all who don't rock with the pseudo stuff, but I rocks with my moon alignment. But I did write an ebook, and I use my birth chart as a guide to help me stay on point with my finances.
Side out of you.
I mean, hey,
side out of you.
I don't give a damn. It works for me. And everything I told her in her chart has came to pass. So our ancestors knew something was relevant when it comes to us relating to the cosmos.
She was side out of you.
I want to check it out though, sis. Where can I get this ebook? Tell them.
I would just give it to you, sis, because I rocks with you. And
but tell them where you can get your book. Tell the audience where they can get your book.
So go to www.rizikizafira.com. That's RIZIKIZAFIRA. And I just want to say this before we move on. So yeah, I do rock with sidereal astrology. And like I said, I'm not a slave to my chart. I'm not dogmatic when it comes to using astrology, but I will be lying to myself if I did not say abiding by certain, I'll say being in alignment with, certain things did not help me. I would be lying if you know what I'm saying, if I said otherwise. But yeah, you can get the book on my site, and you definitely want to make sure you have your sidereal birth chart, because sidereal astrology is astronomically correct. Western astrology is not astronomically correct. So I just wanted to be clear on that. I don't use that Western shit. I use the real astronomical placements. So that's all I gotta say. Excellent,
my sister.
Sister Lima, go ahead and say what you gotta say. I need to hear.
I'm not even gonna get into that because I already lost a few sisters. I'm gonna leave the crystals and the cards, and I'm gonna leave all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I will do is tell you that I have poetry book available on Amazon, also available on Kindle and ebook.
Hold it up, sis. Sis, can you hold the book up? Do you have a copy so they can see the book?
Yes, family. Available now.
Yes, let me hear it.
Confessions of a Misplaced African with a K.
That's right.
Available on Amazon and also on Kindle. It's a poetry book that basically speaks a lot about spirituality. It speaks about love. It speaks about what we've endured since we've been here. It speaks about possible, maybe a battle plan, you know, just different things that we need to work on as African people. And I'm pushing that, and I'm working on my radio show to help promote poetry and spoken word for other conscious artists, and even artists that aren't conscious, because everybody's got to start somewhere. So that is my main focus right now, ladies, and platform. Misplaced African, available on Amazon.
You didn't want to bless them with a verses. You didn't want to hit them with something so they can know what they're getting, or am I putting you on a spot?
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I will do a short one real quick.
All right, hit it, give them a taste. Because you used to do readings on your Facebook page. You would go live and do like readings out of it.
I'll be wanting to do that, but I don't want to give too much for free, because you know how Black people are.
All right, I know.
Okay, so this one right here is called Real Niggas, okay? I am sick of real niggas, because the drive-bys you senselessly conduct take real lives. I am sick of real niggas, because they don't provide life insurance following one's demise caused by their very own hands. I am sick of real niggas promoting selling drugs and advocating for loose women. I am sick of real niggas flooding the streets with wandering fatherless children. I am sick of real niggas foolishly giving their time to the system. I am sick of real niggas sipping their lean and popping their mollies. I am sick of real niggas encouraging women to strip for them dollars. And I am sick of real niggas hugging the block, destroying our communities. I am sick of real niggas, all for self, not interested in unity. I am sick of real niggas who value fast money and discredit the workers. I am sick of real niggas who think school is for losers, supplying the users. I am sick of real niggas further contributing to our impoverished conditions. I am sick of real niggas, the largest victims of recidivism. I am sick of real niggas who lack knowledge of self and know not their worth. I am sick of real niggas taking the lives of their very own brothers. I am sick of real niggas disrespecting their sisters because they hate their own mothers. So I am sick of real niggas because real niggas breed real niggas, which cause real problems for real people and real consequences for these real niggas. Peace and love, family.
All right, now get up.
Ashe. Look.
Ashe.
Kill him with the shoulders on that one. Yeah.
That was hot. So they need to check you out at Amazon. And where else is? You said it's on Kindle.
Check me out on Amazon. You can get your hardback copy, or you can get it on Kindle. You can get your ebook also off of Kindle, which is through Amazon as well.
Fantastic.
Well, since everybody got a book, I got a book too. It's coming out tomorrow. And I have it out on Amazon, and what else it is? Kindle.
On Kindle.
Yeah, I got one too. Check it out. I got y'all. I'll let y'all know next week. No, congratulations, sisters. I'm proud of you guys.
Definitely. Well, you all know, and I'm not going to be long-winded. I believe that I was long-winded the last time. Let me share my screen real fast. You all know that my family and I started a company entitled Ed Anime Productions. Can you see my screen, family?
Yes.
All right, Ed Anime Productions. And we have a series called Meltrek. It's a hip-hop, it's an educational hip-hop animated series that teaches children authentic African history. I throw African American in there because you have a lot of people, when you call them African, they can't relate to that. But if you say African American, they can. But anyway, it tells children, or teaches children, authentic African history with the objectives to promote self-awareness, self-esteem, and solidarity. And so you can visit edanimeproductions.com, purchase your copy of Meltrek 1 and 2 DVD. Meltrek episode 2 DVD is set to probably within, I'll probably have it shipped out maybe the first or second week in February, because we're still making revisions and we're almost, finished with the revisions. Thank the ancestors. And I'm telling you, Meltrek episode 2 is more, when I say that it's more powerful than episode 1, my family gets upset with me because they're like, Meltrek episode 1 was dynamic. But I'm telling you, Meltrek episode 2 It's longer than Meltrek episode 1, and we added so many visuals that you can use as teaching tools to instruct your children right in your homes. So please, I'm telling you, go to the website, support. We have DVDs. We also have a coloring book. My son Isaiah is getting ready to release the Meltrek Exploring Ancient Africa audio storybook, where we provide your children with the details that we could not provide them with in Meltrek episode 1. And then we also, did some cleaning up, because we did make some erroneous statements, a few of them, in Meltrek episode 1, and we kind of cleaned that up with the audio storybook. We have backpacks, we have t-shirts. So please visit this site and support. As you can see, this is a Black owned and operated company. Let me show you the faces. So you have my sons. If you go to our Ed Anime Productions pages, you will see them. You have myself. I'm right there. You have my cousin, Luther Elliott, who's a co-founder, my cousin, Shawnee Bowens, who is our chief educational specialist. So this is a Black owned and operated company. So please, brothers and sisters, support, because so often do we sit and we ask, for solutions. We're so quick to ask for solutions. Where are the solutions? Where are the solutions? And then the solutions that are out there, you don't support them. So then you say, well, I don't want to teach my children white supremacy, but you still send them to school. And then and now some parents may say, well, Dr. Mayad, I can't afford to homeschool right now. I can't afford to put my children in African-centered schools. But have you taken the time to research tools that you can implement in your own homes? And if the answer is no, you need to get your butt over to edanimeproductions.com, purchase the DVDs. And we also have the digital download available. So you can go to Amazon, just type in Meltrek and purchase the digital download. Okay, so please support these solutions that brothers and sisters are coming up with. Shout out to all of the African-centered schools. Please go and support the Uhuru Academy. Support Sister Jamila. What's her last name, Sister Riziki? Sister Jamila
Heyman, I believe. Yeah, she's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Please support Sister Jamila Heyman. Please support
Baba Rudy.
Yeah, Baba Rudy. Yes, thank you. Baba Baruti. Please support Baba Baruti. Please support Brighter Minds Academy by Brother Larry Rivera. Please support Sankofa. Please support the Kamali Academy. I think that the Kamali Academy is down there in St. Louis. Please support African-centered education. Please support the Watoto Development Center here in Baltimore, Maryland. Please support it. Did I leave anything out, brothers? I said brothers and sisters. Did I leave anything out, sisters? Did I leave
Pearl Academy in Atlanta.
The Pearl Academy in Atlanta. Please support them. Go to the websites. Send a contribution, $5, $10, $20. Every dollar counts. I also want to close by speaking on the topic for next week. And I know, sisters, that I didn't have time to go over it with you. So I'm going over it with you now. And I'll only do this topic next week if you all agree to it. There's a young sister, her name is Gina Mitchell. She attends, I don't know if the sister's in Tuskegee University or Tuskegee. She's in one of those universities. But this sister is studying the effects that divorce has on children. And so she prepared a beautiful presentation. She went out and she interviewed a lot of families. And she contacted me and she said, well, Doc, what's interesting is the studies that are currently out there on how divorce affects children. She said they target white families. They target European families. She said they hardly include us in the study. So this sister went out of her way to conduct a study on how African families and African American children are affected by divorce. And she wanted to come on. Actually, she didn't ask to come on. Once she told me about what she was doing, I said, sis, you need to come on the platform and do this presentation, for the sisters and do a Q&A. And she said, cool. She said, I can be on February the 1st. So if you all are, in agreement with that, then I'll give her the green light and tell her that it's okay. So did you all have another topic that you wanted to address on February the 1st that's nearest and dearest, to your hearts, or do you want to go ahead and rock out with that?
I like that.
I do too. I mean, my parents are divorced, so yeah, I definitely want to. Yeah, that would
mine's also. So what about you, Waukesha? How do you feel about that topic?
That's cool. I won't have much to say.
Oh, no. No, we're just going to be on the panel. We're just going to support her. We're just going to let her come.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Platform and she's going to give a PowerPoint presentation for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then after she gives her presentation, then we're going to do like a Q&A period. I may have some questions. You may have some questions. Sister Alima, Sister Raziki may have some questions. And today. But and then all of us
also members in the chat room. If y'all, we want to know what y'all like to hear too. So whenever Dr. Oya, she brings up these topics, feel free to comment also to, let us know what all you all would like to know about so that, we can provide that to you.
Definitely. No doubt. And, I can speak to that. I mean, I'm not going to open up now. I can definitely speak to being a product of a broken home. You know what I mean? Watching my mother struggle, to make sure that, ends were meet, to make sure that our household was taken care of. Because we have to remember when two people divorce, if both parties were working, now, an income has been taken away from that household. You get what I'm saying? So now the children in that household are relying on one income. And so I just saw, my mother work to take care of me and my brother. She worked 2 jobs. And I'm telling you, divorce is something on young children. And we're going to speak to that next week. We're going to speak to that next week, how divorce affects young children. And then maybe we need to do a follow-up the following week and talk about how we can heal relationships before it gets to the point of divorce. You see it?
I work with couples too. So I love that. Yes.
Yeah, that maybe after we do that, we do a follow-up and just talk about how, we can prevent that from happening. Because that's devastating for a child to be used to a certain dynamic, family dynamic. And we don't think about that as parents. You're upset, she's upset, he's upset. And it's like, I'm leaving, it's over. I can't take anymore. But no one is thinking about that child. No one is thinking about how that separation will affect that child. You want to know why? Because as human beings, we're very selfish. We're very selfish. But with that note, we're going to close up. Do you sisters have any last words? Look, everybody's like, no, Dr. Maya.
I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat.
Oh, yeah, I'm hungry, too. I'm getting ready to go out.
I love y'all, but my stomach is touching my back.
Yes, it's time to go, Doctor. Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Right.
Like an hour over.
I know. So we're out, family. Please join us next week for Tea Talk with the sisters from 1 to 2 p.m. I don't know why I always say 1 to 2 p.m. because we always
say until
1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 3 or 1 to 3.
Until.
We love you. Salute to everybody who watched the show today. I see Brother Sean P. He's in the building. Brother Doug is in the building. Brother Jehudi Mayat is in the building. You have Sister Anisha Green. She's in the building. Sister Ayana, Sister Olivia. That's my girl. You have Lessa Darcy. She's in the building. Brother Alton White. He's in the building. Sunline 55 is in the building. I'm going up. I'm scrolling up, y'all. I'm scrolling up. Matt
Sean P, I am going to get you on my table. We're going to do some tantra and you're going to like it. So don't fight with me.
757 in the building.
757 Red Crown, Geneva.
She's side-eyeing you.
Okay, look, I don't care. Because
Tracy joined us. I'm trying to look up. Do I see anybody else? I don't think I see anybody else. Devon Phillip joined us today. Sunflower Child joined us today. Oh man, we had a lot of brothers and sisters who came through. So please continue to join us, man. It gives us motivation. Please continue to join us. Just like Sister Raziki said, if there's a topic that you all want us to speak on, don't hesitate to reach out to us on our Facebook pages. I posted a link in the description box to all of our social media pages. So with that said, we love you, family. We'll see you next week where we will address the effects of divorce on African children. I know you want to say African American, but I'm going to call it You're African people. You're African people. With that, peace and love, family.
Peace.